life has just been insane. But I won't go into it because this is a book review for the wonderful Delta James, who, wow, what to say about Delta. First of all, it's an absolute honour to know this lady. She's phenomenal. She's kind-hearted. She's well-spirited. She's got such an incredible imagination. I've read quite a few of her books. I'm going to put it out there. If you know who Delta James is, think E.L. James, but more books and more steam. So she's an erotic novelist, and my first break into Delta's world was definitely Masters of the Savoy. Oh my god, I cannot champion that series enough. Jesus, if you were gonna have a taste of Delta James, like, you've got to read about Rourke's character in that series. I like all the guys. It's all kind of like same universe, but each chap gets his own story with his own love interest in each of the books, and my favourite is Rourke's story. It is. I can't help it. It's just something about it. I get hot just thinking about it. Whew. It's a good series, definitely, and it's set in England in the Savoy Hotel, which is very, very, very swish, very swanky, very up there, ladies and gentlemen. It's very posh hotel. It even has its own TV series, which I love watching, because then reading the series you can really take in the interior of the hotel, so it makes that whole reading imagination experience like way more intense, and it's a good series. So this is for adults, this chat. I'm not going to go into detail, obviously, because yeah, I'll leave that up to you guys, and you know, to explore that when you dive into Delta's books. Hang on, I need a sip of my drink. And the book I'm reviewing for her today is called, I need to get this the right way around, hang on a minute. Fated Wolf's Destiny. Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a lowdown more about Delta, just give me some information to relay to new readers and people who discover this. So Delta's philosophy is, and I've heard her say this time and again, and actually it gives me confidence and a boost, thinking on the days that I feel like I'm not hitting it, why am I bothering being a writer? It's a slow struggle, but I've had some big hits. I've earned like £300+ with a quarter payment, and then I've hit like 3p, 3 pence, as in GBP, 3 pence. Like, I wasn't sure Amazon could actually afford that, and I was kind of like, are you sure you can stretch the pennies for like 3 pence? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, then I got like a really nice surprise. I think it was like £350. It said like my royalties had come in, and I'm thinking I've gone from 3 pence, and I was glad I was sitting down, to then all of a sudden I'm like running around, and I'm like, oh my god, and my husband comes tearing in, he's like, what's the matter? And I'm like, oh my god, he's like, what is it, spit it out. And I was like, I got like nearly £400 on my royalty. So you get like this bit of a journey, you know, you like, as a writer, as an indie writer, you get this kind of like high and low and high and low, but that's what part of the fun is. I think that's part of the process, and I'm having a ball as a writer. But it's Delta who is like my, if I ever have a worry or a concern, her and her friend Chris, they work together on the books. They're a real tag team. Like, Delta can smash out 40,000 words, 40,000 words in one sitting when she's writing a book. So I'm like, okay, that's a target I don't think I'll ever reach. I think the maximum amount of words I've ever hit has been 10k. So she is like a machine. She is a machine. She just had a big medical procedure, heavy duty surgery. As soon as she came out of like the anesthetic, she's already, you know, like, she's chatting away online, and she's like, yep, gotta get back to it, getting back to work, getting back to my writing. And I'm like, 100% trophy for you, Delta. Like, wow. Seriously, she's phenomenal. So, in Delta's words, she says, "It's never too late. She began writing in her 60s, ladies and gentlemen, and she has over 100 titles under her belt. Like, I started in 2016. I'm on my 7th book. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there. And in 1 year of being published, she left her day job behind, and she appreciates that's not the same for everyone, and she equates that to single-minded determination and luck. So yeah, luck played a big role in her process of becoming, you know, a sensation. She's just phenomenal, and each of her books, she has penned them herself. She doesn't have a ghostwriter. She has a really good team of people around her. She's got Chris, who's like her wing woman. She has a phenomenal PA who actually helps me as well, and I was introduced to her through Delta. Even though I write a totally different genre, so she's limited with what she can help me with. She helps me like with the process of getting my books looking lovely and beautiful, and her name is Renee, and she's an amazing woman. And then there is Lori, Lori, a lady who does all of Delta's editing, and you know what? Credit to the editor, because she makes those books shine. Wow, like, you are just so immersed in the story. Like, this book I've just read of Delta's, I've read quite a few of her books. She just has the knack of like just drawing you in and like building the world, and then like you're in it from the reader perspective, if you know what I mean. So Fated Wolf's Destiny is book 1 in the Cascade Mountain series, so I'm excited because this means that there are other books to read. And I really enjoyed this story because it circulates around, it's a shifter story, so it's kind of like, if you think werewolves, but these are wolves. So Twilight is a good example of, like, you know, Jacob is like the wolf family side of things, and they can shift from human to wolf, that sort of narrative. So it gave me kind of Twilight vibes on an adult footing, because there are adult notes woven in, because it is erotic fiction. So yeah, it's book 1 in the Cascade Mountains, situated in the Pacific Northwest. My husband's forever banging on about the Pacific Northwest because of Bigfoot, of course. It's a paranormal romance with small town vibes and steamy themes woven throughout. Boy, the steam. Whew. At times I was sort of like, I feel like I'm intruding here. Like, I'll just turn the pages and like give you guys some privacy, because like, wow. That's on fire, that scene. So yeah, if steamy and chili peppers and all that is your thing, get in there, just get stuck in, that's what I'll say. Each book in the series will feature different wolf packs, all inside the Cascades. So that's really nice, actually, because I think it builds the tribal sort of vibe. Like, you know, there's kind of like little family units then. I like how they all cohabitate and coexist with one another and all that jazz. So yeah, I liked the sort of, there was like rivalry, because of course with wolves you get pack rivalry, but there was like this real strong family tie with the female protagonist, Bella, aka Isabella, and this loss that she suffers early on in the book. And you really feel for her character, actually, because anyone who's lost someone close to them, I'm sure they can relate to that. And yeah, it's got the whole dynamic and balance of like alpha, and you've got like the masculine and the feminine, and like how that matches up in a perfect world, sort of like a yin yang. So I really like the balance of power depicted throughout that story as well. And Delta's most popular titles today are Defiant Mate, which is from her Mystic River series. Then we have The Bargain, which is a lead off the Syndicate Masters. I think that comes under the Mafia title of books that she's written, which I think I've read 1 or 2 of, and I did really enjoy them, because that's the magic with Delta. Like, she can take you on a route to vampire, to shifter, to mafia bosses, to like, she's just a machine. She really is. And then The Trail Boss is from her Silver Spur Security series. And there is a series she's writing at the moment, and I haven't yet started it, and I really want to sink my teeth into it. And it's a Clubhouse series, so I'll probably be doing a review on that as well later on. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you for everyone who is showing up for the live. I've never had people join me on the live before. This is really cool. So yeah, thank you and hello to everybody. Hola. I hope everyone is having a good day, good weekend. I hope I'm not boring you to tears. I just love books and I'm very passionate about them, and this is why I started this channel, so that I could, for free, I'm not getting paid to do this. I am wholeheartedly just putting myself out there and saying to authors, you know, I know as an indie author the struggle is real, and I read a lot of books and I review a hell of a lot of books on Amazon and Goodreads, and that's all free. Like I buy the books, I read them, I love them, and I review, and I thought, how can I give authors more reach here? And I thought, why not do a YouTube review channel? So yeah, I get, you know, I'm not adverse to buying the author's books, but you know, if they want to send me an EPUB or a PDF, then that really helps a lot as well, because then it means that I can hold on to my book budget. I have a book budget. I don't know if you readers have a book budget, but I do. And it means that I can stretch it a bit more and get like more books, if that makes sense. So yeah, I get like to read books for free at times, which is a blessing, and enjoy those worlds and then review them. So it gives me so much pleasure to do this for the authors, and all the authors I'm reviewing can attest to not having paid me anything. Like, this is totally free service, absolutely. So if you have a book that you've got coming out or you have out already and you'd like a review video, then just message me and I'll set it up. I'll add you to my list. So just touching on Delta's personal life here before I go back to Fated Wolf's Destiny. She has a history of riding horses, as do I, so we have that connecting factor, which is so nice. Different areas of the world, like I'm UK and Delta's like Florida, so we're like miles apart with big swaths of ocean between us, but we have that connecting factor on like horses. So she has ridden paint horses, which I think, don't quote me on this, but the paint horses are more the horses linking with Native Americans, I believe. So I think in the UK we may call them piebald and skewbald. They're kind of like the white horses with the blacky darker splodges, which are the skewbald, and then the white horses with the pale brown are the piebald, I believe. Appaloosas, which I love because they always remind me of Dalmatian dogs because of all the spots. I love Appaloosas. Arabs, the ones with the fancy tail, like really high up tail, and they have the most amazing ears, and I always think they look a little dragon-esque, Arab horses. They're just very pretty, very, very, very pretty horses. I have ridden one before as well, and wow, that was an experience. They can gallop like wow. And quarter horses. So those are the 4 breeds that Delta kind of associates herself with in her past, like riding horses and things. And so she rode these horses in world championships in different disciplines and obviously varying breeds, which is amazing. Good effort. I mean, it's incredible. I love the world of equestrianism. It's such a discipline, and I can understand how Delta is so disciplined with her writing if she comes from the world of equestrianism, as do myself. So maybe there's something in there that keeps us humble and, you know, going with that perseverance, like just trying our hardest and not giving up. She has shown over 8 Basset Hounds at the AKC Championships. These are Delta's own fur babies. And bless her, she suffered quite a few losses in recent years. And I know from having animals myself, like the loss, it's a huge hole. It really is. Yeah, it was quite a tricky time for her, and every time she used to write about it, I can remember like welling up and like crying and being like, that's just really sad. I feel so sad for Delta because she's so lovely and she just loves those dogs wholeheartedly. And yeah, that was hard to watch her go through that. So yeah, I'm happy she's still got some fur babies, and I'm sure she'll always have fur babies. I think she will forever, I think. And it's so lovely. Her newsletter often features her dogs, and I love the photographs. And yeah, I do miss that. I do miss having a dog for sure. So Delta is known for taking rogue horses and making them champs. And when I wrote that, I thought, does she do that for husbands as well? Because if so, I could send my husband to have some training. So if she wants to like train my husband, you know, I'm pretty sure he'd be quite receptive to that. And if he wasn't, I'm sure she could like make him receptive. She's got 4 pet dogs to date. They're all Bassets, and they're called Roz, Ava, Skylar, and Olivia. Now, in her series Wayward Mates, Roz, Ava, and Skylar feature as character names, which I just think is so lovely. What a legacy for the doggies! Like, they're going to live on forever in the books from just, you know, name only. And then in Mercenary Masters, Olivia features. So I'm excited to read all of those as well, because then I can be like, oh my god, these are named after the doggies. So yeah, she's lived a very full life, and obviously a big animal lover. So yeah, and when you read Delta's books, I'm sure you'll see her experience of like horses and not the narrative, but the knowledge on her world on equestrianism, like that has helped her in leaps and bounds. Like whenever I read one of her books that features cowboys or, you know, the Great Outback, and she's talking about like the tack and the horses and all that dynamic, I'm like, that comes through very strongly. Like she's a very, very knowledgeable individual. And you know, going back to Fated Wolf's Destiny, I love wolves because I had a partial wolf dog back in 2007, and he was just coming up to 2 years old, and we had a house fire. It was started by a faulty tumble dryer, and yeah, he died of smoke inhalation, and it just devastated the family, and we never got another dog. We've never had another dog since. It's just too painful. So yeah, that was hard, but I love Delta's posts about her doggies, because it's not like I look at owners with their dogs and I'm like instantly sad because I think of our dog that passed away in the fire. But I quite love that energy. I love the opportunity to just you know, go up to someone who has clearly got a friendly dog on the end of the lead. You always ask first, don't you? Don't just go up and start fussing, because you might get your hand taken off. And I love that exchange of like energy. You know, it's magic. It really is. And that's the kind of energy that Delta, I feel personally, she brings into her stories, especially if they're shifter stories, and you know, the animalistic vibe as well. So yeah, she has a real knack for weaving magic and mystery, paranormal, and at times real life vibes, I guess, you know, like gang warfare with the whole mafia boss vibe and stuff. And she seems to be able to turn her hand to anything, which is an amazing skill, absolutely amazing. But yeah, I loved it. Fated Wolf's Destiny is a beautiful story. It's got, I would say it's just got the right element of steam in there. It's not so much that it's overbearing, because sometimes I think with erotic fiction, I've read quite a bit of erotic fiction, because I read anything from like cozies to eroticism to, you know, horror, thrillers, true life books, anything really. I love to read, but I would say she just has this work balance that comes into the stories. You know, they're believable, you can relate to the characters on varying levels because of the life events that happen. Things around subject of the heart, the struggle of life, like trying to make ends meet or going through a breakup, trusting again, and, you know, getting the ultimate like alpha male as your partner. You know, it's every woman's dream, isn't it? Like, you know, just Maybe not every woman's dream, you know, like just like, Birmingham, just give me a good spanking, spank that. Just like give that a smack, you know. I've read a bit too much Delta James, I think. You can never read too much Delta James, you really can't. I mean, crikey, ladies and gents. Yeah, I think if you do like romance, eroticism, fantasy, paranormal, all of it, like, please pick up her books. They are just incredible and a pleasure to read every time. And some of her books have been turned into audio files now with all the good stuff in that as well. I've had a few listen in to some of her stories and wow. Spicy meatballs comes to mind. So yeah, love it. Fated Wolf's Destiny. It did give me Twilight vibes, not gonna lie, from the wolf pack perspective. Okay, the female protagonist is called Bella, aka Isabella, but I didn't think of Bella out of Twilight. I just kind of could imagine the tall pines, you know, the town, that kind of primal, natural environment coming into modern day life. And there was something sacred and tribal in the story. You know, there's something very old to the characters that comes to the fore when you read this. Like, I could smell the mist, like I could smell the pines, and I could like hear the rain, and I could, you know, feel the earth underfoot as I'm reading, and I can, you know, all my senses are heightened when I read, especially when the books are well described. So I really can't sell it to you guys any more than that. Like, Fated Wolves Destiny by Delta James is a winner for me across the board. I'm like, absolutely. It's not crude, it's not smutty in the sort of like, okay, wow, we're really going, okay. You know, it's erotic, but on a like a primal, intimate level. You know, there's respect there between the characters, like when they're having their moments of love making, shall we say. So yeah, if you are ever feeling in the mood for something steamy, then, you know, get in there, go and have a look at Delta's library. She has got over 100 titles under her name. She has written every single one by herself, and I think that's something to champion, definitely. I know there are a lot of good authors out there that are write erotic fiction, but she really is one of my fan favourites, I have to say. And I'm not scared to say that, yes, I do like to indulge myself as a heterosexual woman. I do like to. I'm married 15 years, but I like the fantasy. I like to get in there, you know, and have those experiences where it's a sure thing, like, you know, the characters are going to get together, and you have that kind of build up, and you're like, are they going to do it? Like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And then it happens, and it's almost like fireworks go off, isn't it? It's just like, wow, that was amazing, like, that's incredible. And then you're really happy for the characters, because you're like, yes, it's like, yes, you're like, you're going to have like your forever after with all the goodies included in that. So yeah, anyway guys, that is it. Please check her out. She's a phenomenal lady. And yeah, what I'm going to do is when I finish the live here, I'm going to get a picture of the book cover and I'll put it as the icon. And then I'll write the description and add a couple of links in there for you guys, so you can join her newsletter, stay ahead of like all the things that she writes in her newsletters, which are beautifully written and often feature her doggies, her basset hounds, which are, I feel like they're kind of family because I've been following Delta for so long now. And they're so cute. I just want to pick them up and I just want to give them a cuddle. And Delta as well, and Chris and Renee, and you know, those three ladies are just incredible women, and I feel very blessed and honoured to know them. You know, they helped me at a particularly dark junction of my writing journey, and it's a true testament to the character of these people in their real day lives, least of all Delta, of genuinely wanting to help a writer in need. She gives great advice. She does tutorials as well. So if you follow her on Facebook, or follow her in our group, you know, occasionally she pops on a live, and when she does, I've got these switched on because I'm like, listen in, she's giving tutorial like tidbits, like you're gonna want to make notes, because she's so knowledgeable and she knows the industry. She knows it inside out and backwards. So yeah, just phenomenal. And yeah, I have to pinch myself at times because I'm like, I just feel incredibly honoured to be connected to someone as phenomenal as Delta. And yeah, I really do love her as a friend. I do. She's honest, she's straight down the middle, and the same can be said for Chris and Renee. You know, I've sometimes been in tears with some things that have happened with the process of publishing some of my books. You know, they've got me through each stage of that and kept my confidence up and given that reassurance. So it's a pleasure for me to do this for Delta, it really is. So I hope I have sold it to you guys. I hope you're intrigued. I hope I have piqued your interest. If you are a Delta fan, let me know in the comments. Let me know your favourite book title and what you loved about the stories. But try and keep it a bit PG. I know that, you know, this conversation and this genre is not PG, but just try and, yeah, mind your P's and Q's in the comments if you're gonna say something. But yeah, otherwise guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I look forward to doing my next review, which will be a cozy, so far cry from erotic, but it'll be a cozy book, and it is by Mallory Price, and I cannot wait to review that book for you guys either, because it is a really, really lovely story and I love it. So all right guys, lots of love, take care of yourselves, please stay safe, stay well, look after yourself, look after each other, and I will catch you on my next live. Right guys, take care, bye.